Were you always like a ladies' man, or were you just like kind of manifesting through the music?
I've never really been asked this question in my entire life, but I'm gonna tell you. A lot of people are talking lately about, remember at first it was The Secret, and you could just
Yeah.
think, stay it into existence. A lot of people are talking now about, I keep seeing all this stuff all over the place about manifestation and how you can just sit there and meditate your way into your future and just, you make it happen. I cannot attest to that. I've never attempted to try, but I feel like I've been living that because, before I was a player, I was a player in my mind.
Right.
Before I had a bunch of females, I put like beautiful women. I surrounded them on my wall in my room when I was a kid, like too young to even. I was still a virgin, and I was like, why you got all these girls on the wall? These are my girlfriends. Like I go with them. They're mine. Like that, it's my game. And then I think I had a mission that I was on. And my mission was, I was looking at how the pimping flowed. I had a couple of homies. We used to go down to the hostro, and we used to just watch pimping and hoeing. We just watch it like it was a TV show, like real life pimping and hoeing. Who getting in cars, who getting out, interaction between the pimp and the hoe, pimps talking to each other, the hoes walking around talking to each other, the whole get down. The police pulling up, just whatever it was. We just watch pimping. And, 40 got a line in one of his songs. He's like, I got a mirror in my pocket and I practice looking hard. I was literally like, I used to practice. We had a full body mirror in the house. And I used to practice. Like, this is what I'm going to do when I get in this situation. This is exactly how I'm going to stand, walk. This is the facial expression I'm going to make. And I would go out and work on that shit. And I literally, I started getting popular as Too Short. But it's crazy because when I started getting popular as Too Short, there was no face to go with it. It was underground, and I used to have arguments with people because I'd be wearing a hat or a jacket that said Too Short, and they'd be like, "You're not Too Short the rapper." I'm like, "Yeah." They like, "Fuck out of here, you ain't Too Short." And there was a lot of that going on to where people knew me. I was very popular, but then the name was more popular than me. And all these, we had a couple of fake Too Shorts back in the early '80s.
I bet.
It was one dude. He was like light skinned with a long perm, and he swore to everybody he was Too Short. It was like, man, Too Short, light skinned. He was living a good life
Shit.
without ever having to rap or nothing, just telling people like, yeah, I'm Too Short. But then I got real popular when I dropped Freaky Tales. That's when it really, really, really took off. Before Freaky Tales, I had Girl, That's Your Life, Playboy Short. The 75 Girl stuff. I got my picture on the cover, got a couple of radio spins, you know what I'm saying? But Freaky Tales is when I was literally driving that Cadillac on the cover around. I was really riding around this motherfucker with big ass rope chains on and talking on my car phone, you know what I'm saying, with the cord in the car, and I'm pulling up, picking bitches up and getting in the car and riding around with bad bitches all the time. And I think that somehow it started manifesting into a reality, and I had practiced and thought about it and prepared for it for so long that when I was given the opportunity to be a player, I was already real well versed. I had studied a lot when I was hanging out, asking the pimps for advice, and I even had a few good conversations with like bums, homeless people who I heard used to be a pimp. I'm like, bruh, what happened? They said you had the hoes. And that story is a Too Short song. That story is a Too Short vibe. That story is something that needs to be told. You know what I mean? I got a lot of songs from I used to ask prostitutes, in the act of working, hey, if I can get a moment, what would make you be a hoe? And every time I get that answer, that's a whole nother fucking song. And it's just like, it's just being a student of the game. So when I was given my chance, okay, now they checking you out. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? I was ready for it. And I also got to give a lot of credit to Dean Hodges, if you know that name. Dean Hodges was the owner of 75 Girls Records. he kept it rock star status at all times. If you were able to be around Dean, and shout out to the homie Vernon Mouton, they'll tell you when I was the little homie back in the day that they presented it properly. It was like a player's lifestyle. These boys had the new cars and brand new Benzes and celebrities stopping by the house, and you had a little collection of pictures. You're like, oh shit, these are all my local dream girls that I see everywhere that I could never get, and he got them busting it wide open and posing and shit. And I'm just trying to say they showed me what the player lifestyle was like. And I'm gonna give you one last thing. I was a super mega player for a long time in my life, and then at one point I really fell in love, and that kind of molded me. When I saw how shallow my player life existence was, and then I saw how dope it was to be in love, I kind of came out of that relationship and was like, okay, I'm gonna remix this a little bit and be a little more cause I was a dog. That's why they call me Short Dog. I was really bad, Short Dog. They don't call me Short Dog because that's my dog. They was like, this little nigga's a dog, and that's how I got the name Short Dog. And I kind of mellowed it out in my mid-20s, and then it started, being the Too Short Everybody Knows. That's when I was coming with songs like Cocktails and in that era when you finally see, you look at the I'm a Player video, you see, I remixed the Cadillac and it was the 3 times burgundy. That's me getting a little bit older. Got the swimming pool at the house, and
Yeah.
I kind of refined it a little bit. So
That's another one of my favorites, man. Cocktails.
yeah,
That's. I see what you mean, because in the beginning you came out on some motherfuck you damn shithead bitch. But that's also some bass shit, because I don't know what it is, but we are hard on the ladies out here.
but also vice versa.
That's a good point.
A Bay Area female would get on your neck if she if she sees the weakness in you.
That's a good point.
So we have to actually be that way.
Yeah.
I feel for out of town cats.
Oh yeah.
When they get a little crippled by an experience with a Bay Area chick and it's the wrong. They end up getting checked for something.
They don't like squares out here.
Yeah, exactly. Our squares are not squares.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that was coming to mind when you were talking about being a student of the game, because that's another thing that really resonated with me about your music, is that you didn't come in rapping about being a gangster, slanging kilos, being a pimp. There was pimp raps, but it wasn't like you were describing your actual lifestyle pimping. You were just kind of like a regular dude that
I call it pimp-ish.
It was pimpish. You had some pimp bones. You had some pimp expressions, but you were just a regular dude that just, I think that's the archetype for being a player. That's Bay Area shit. We know how to be players. We know how to talk. We know how to carry ourselves. There's so much street game you learn for survival. You don't have to be in the streets to have street game and know how to carry yourself and all that.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.